your character, Nora, is at her library, or at the library that is very important to her. And I see this as a very um, there are two parts of this building. One is that it is an old stone building that is probably centuries old and has been a library for a long time. That part is quite small. The university has acquired that land long ago. Maybe it was always the university for centuries, but it is very modern now. And so now this small stone corner, this building is now just the stone corner of a much more modern structure with, glass walls and staircases, that you can see people walking down through the glass walls, and it's not very big, but that modern section is about 3 times as big as the original stone structure. So it's kind of a strange hybrid building, um, and the the transparent parts are not the whole thing; they are just where people are walking on the stairs. But the areas in the modern section, they are very clean and they are very uh, softly with soft light, and um, they have comfortable places to sit, and then they have kind of study places that are not very comfortable to sit. And then in the traditional section, of course, you have furniture that smells just a little bit like an old dog, and the beautiful bookshelves, and the what they call the Tiffany lamps, which are these strange hard lampshades of colored glass-like material. I still don't know exactly what a Tiffany lamp is made of, um, but they are colored, so the light
Ah,
is they glow. So that is the two kind of atmospheres in this library, and of course there's wonderful information everywhere. Um, so if you are in this library, I am going to suggest that you are looking at the notification that has been uh, a notification that has been made public. It was sent out in email to everyone, and now it is posted in paper as well, about how the new committee taking control of this library is um, selling off the old books, because, of course, it's time to go digital, and it's time to collapse this into a more efficient and modern research space. They don't use the word library. And the name of the committee is at the bottom, and uh, there is, anyway. So that is the notification that Nora is seeing. There is also the opportunity there to do some research if you want about the creature that you were in, or the being that you were investigating, which lives apparently, by legend, in the bottom of this harbor, in between, basically the body of water that is surrounded by our 3 cities.
mm. Like all the documentations or something that could be indirectly tied to.
Right, right. So and this is of course considered ridiculous because it's just a legend, and it's not related to Dracula, so most people in the Ordo Dracul don't think that's very interesting. So if you would like to make a roll for your so to research some of this, this is, I think, is your first opportunity to do this, then let's go ahead and play with the system a little bit. And I will call for oh wait, where am I looking? Yes. So I think this would probably be academics or investigation. Probably academics at this time here in the library.
I have academics and specialty research.
That would be right. Okay, so that means it goes with intelligence, and
It's dice.
Okay, but then there's something to do with the specialty. Do you remember the specialty rules? I will have to look them up to be sure. This is our first specialty roll.
Into that you added one dice to the specialty.
Okay, perfect. Let's do that.
I recall.
We can check that later. Right now, go ahead and roll and see if
I already calculated the dice pool.
Excellent. Go right ahead.
It's very easy.
I think so. Oh, that's a very exciting dice roll.
Have a very big surface to roll on. Let's see.
So we are looking for 8s, 9s, and 10s.
The 10?
Okay. The 10 you roll again?
Yes, that 10. Didn't lead, but 4 successes.
4 is plenty. That is excellent. So this is actually going to be quite strong. The effect is the result is that this entity, you now have strong evidence now that you have managed to put together a strong set of data, or at least conclusions.
A more clear picture, or like...
Well, a picture, no.
Down the picture.
Yeah, it's unfortunately not a picture. But
a picture of it, like...
Yes, a verbal picture, yes. And the best way to describe this is that it is a drainer. I mean, this is something that actually collects blood and pools an enormous amount of blood in one spot. The data suggest that somehow a great deal of blood collects here in this spot in the sea, and that it is and the scary thing perhaps is that this is probably going to explain a lot about vampires who have disappeared over the centuries in this area. What you have really found in your research are people that you are pretty sure are vampires, given the description and how they have disappeared. Their stories stop. And this has been occurring for hundreds of years. So that's some unpleasant but fascinating conclusions at this point.
Yeah, it kind of likely poses so much of a danger to the inhabitants of this place.
Ah, yes, but think of all that blood. So the next thing, what I have in mind for everybody to do or to tell me about, if you're going to be walking about in this library and doing people things in it, because there are people there now, the library is not yet closed, um, then you should probably spend a vitae for Blush of Life. Unless you want to be very stealthy and stay hidden so nobody sees you. And you can do that too with Obfuscate.
Yeah, and like you get. I probably wouldn't spend blood unless you need. So I probably usually use obfuscate.
Right. I figure you probably lurk about in an unseen form, probably a lot, is kind of my guess about your characters. So,
I kind of guess you would want to have that ability because people always approach you.
Right.
To talk.
I'm actually just looking up the details on this. Here we are. Perfect. Okay. I wish. Yes. Roll results. Oh, I see. Okay, so you have Obfuscate as the larger discipline. How many dots do you have?
One.
So you have Face in the crowd. Okay, and this doesn't.
It basically make
right.
No blood, and it basically makes people ignore you.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost you anything, and it's not a die roll. You don't have to roll.
Oh.
So okay.
I can simply walk around in a node and people ignore me.
Excellent.
As long as I don't make any direct interactions or cause very obvious commotion or something.
Absolutely correct. Yeah. So for those of you who are watching from home, we have a small dark-haired woman who is looking kind of corpse-like, right? No blush of life, and walking around in this library and looking at things and even doing some actual research in different old books, and nobody seems to notice. Just reaches and takes a book down from somewhere, and the person who's just pulled a book down doesn't even see that, or care. So
I think it's more
or just glances and just doesn't care. I mean, it's just something normal to him. Yeah. So
the moment I'm outside of field of vision, they kind of instantly forget about it all.
Yeah, just they're thinking about something else. You're okay.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic for you. And this is context for everybody right now. If I can find the right page so that I don't lose what I'm doing, which is quite likely because I lose pages a lot. Here we go. Tonight is the night where Hans and Nora are supposed to work together to make sure that two more experimental subjects who are patients in hospitals in Schopenhamen are going to be properly transferred to a clinic in Helsingborg. So your job is to go and help Hans with this to make sure that this occurs correctly. It's being conducted by ordinary people doing a job, but this is really, really important. So the two of you need to make sure this happens and nothing strange occurs. I mean, it's not exactly perfect and legal the way it has been arranged. So the order, specifically Solveig, who is Nora's mentor and sire, in fact, the person who made her a vampire. Solveig is in charge of this or this experiment, and therefore Nora and Hans are to meet and to bring these subjects, or to monitor the transfer of these subjects. And so also you will be meeting Solveig to manage this. At the same time, Ejdesh and Ansa, you have the more difficult job of bringing the living Charles Osteen to that same clinic, even if he objects. And Ansa, however, just found out some disturbing news that this person who is critical to the experiment is supposed to, in fact, be the vessel for the experiment, the sort of simultaneous test tube and lab rat at the same time, is unfortunately appears to be deceased, which is not how you want him. He's not supposed to be deceased. So,
Is something that we don't want, or is that we have? Do we have an own agenda in this, or are we doing what we're told?
well, these are all things that you are involved in through your aspirations as well. In your case, this is precisely where you are um, building and perhaps testing or expressing yourself in terms of the artistic meaning. You are bringing the artistic meaning to this. This is a test case for you to try this out.
So I'm invested in this.
Yes,
So
exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
not,
Yeah.
yeah.
The way I see it, I mean, there are no such thing as subordinate vampires. You can't just tell them what to do. I don't care what the blood potency is. I can't understand that hierarchy that they have in their setting. So therefore, I mean, if I was a vampire, nobody tells me what to do, and if they did, I'd drink their blood.